My name is Maya Andreasen, and today I'm going to go over how to import an image plane into your scene when you're starting to create proxy models for your 3D layout. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to set our project. So I'm going to go to File, Set Project. Now I've already made this project, and I'm choosing In-Class Example Project, and I'm going to click Set. Now the reason why this is so important is because all of your scenes are going to save automatically to the Scenes folder in your project. I've already gone ahead and I've saved the top-down sketch for this tutorial into the source images folder of the project. And so it's going to be really easy to get all the elements that I need and to save all my elements, and they'll all go to one place. So that's why it's important to create a project first, and if you already have one, to set it. So we have a new scene, and the first thing that I want to do is I'm going to go to Orthographic View. So in Orthographic View, we can see top, down, front, or side view. And I got to that by going to the left-hand side of my screen, and below the toolbox is all the orthographic views. So there's all the different panel layouts that they have. So they have perspective, this is orthographic, this is the outliner and another view. So I do have the front view here. Let's bring this in and I can get bigger or smaller. So here's my orthographic view. Now I can zoom in and zoom out. All right, so first things first, I'm going to go to View, Image Plane, Import Image in my top down view. Now I think this is front and I need to go to top. So let's switch to that. View, Image Plane, Import Image. And like I said, I already saved that image into my source images folder. And so here it is. Now, if you want to make this image bigger or smaller, you can go to the attribute editor, which is over here. You can see the tab. It's also this little icon right up here, show hide attribute editor. And it takes us to the image plane attributes. If we scroll to the top, first thing is we have the display option. So I can look through just the camera or I can look through all views. The display mode is RGBA. That last A stands for alpha. We don't have any alpha maps, like alpha channels to this layout, so we could do RGB just fine. There's also color gain and color offset. Color offset just is going to like, you know, basically make the actual color like a little bit lighter or darker. Alpha gain allows you to make the image slightly transparent or temporarily completely transparent. You could bring it up so it's completely opaque as well. We're going to scroll down to placement, placement extras. So under image center X, Y, Z, we can move in the X, let's say -5, and that's going to move our image off to the left. I'm going to zero it back. If we moved it in the Y, it's going to move it up or down. So if 5, it's going to be above the plane. -5, it'll be below the plane. If I move it in the Z, it's going to move forward or backwards. So if I did 5 positive, it moves it forward. 5 negative would move it backwards. And then I have the width and the height, and maintain pick aspect ratio is checked, which is important. So if, let's say I put in 20 for the width, it's going to get bigger by, it'll be like 20 units. And if I made the height 20, it will increase the width proportionately. Okay, so those are the basics in terms of moving your image, getting it positioned the way you want. Now this image right here is a little askew. It's a little bit tilted. I would recommend making sure everything's straight up and down, and when you scan in your image and save it, and before you put it in your source images folder. All right, so I'm not going to put in the ground plane, like a ground plane yet, because I kind of want to put in these objects. One thing I would recommend is, so you see here we have notes like this is storage. So what type of storage is this? I would talk to your concept artist or your level designer and ask them. I would also, if you're the modeler, reference the call sheets that you'll be provided. So those are reference sheets that usually include either the concept art with reference photos around it indicating what type of object it is, or it's just going to be reference of that object. So for example, maybe someone concepted out how they want the storage containers to look, and around that you're going to have reference images that indicate maybe the type of material the storage is made out of, the texture of the storage unit. Maybe there's a reference photo of the height that you want it to be, and so you'll have little notes that indicate that information to the modeler to make it easier for them. Okay, so we're going to be in poly modeling shelf, which is right here. But before we go into it, under Create, make sure your polygon primitive, you have interactive creation checked on. And the reason why I say this is because these objects here, nothing is really square, right? So if I start with this table, it says drag on the base. So I'm going to do that. And then it's going to say drag to set the height. And so as you can see in the perspective window, you see me dragging. I'm left mouse pressing and dragging, and this is indicating the height. So I guess this is a table. So here's a table. And I'm just going to call this table underscore proxy 01. And you can, of course, make it look a little bit better, or and go from there. This is just for the purposes of this tutorial. But if you do want to make it look a little bit more like a table, but it's just a really simple table, what we can do is we can go to this cube and let's see, make the height. Maybe the height is 0.5. Make the height 0.25 because it is a table. Okay, and do this for, let's do 3. And we'll do the same here. Then I'm going to double click on these edges. Remember, this is just a proxy model. This is not the final model at all. We're just setting things up really, really quickly. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select these 4 faces here, and then I'm going to extrude them down. So this is my little table. So this is table 1. Okay, table proxy 01. All right. And then I'm going to duplicate it and move it down. Duplicate it and move it over. Duplicate it, move it over again. And then grab these 2, duplicate them, and move them. All right, so now I have my 4 tables. They're in my scene. Now I'm going to create the storage over here. So I'm going to click my Create Poly tool, and here is some storage. So I would like to duplicate this storage because we got 4 things here. I'm not sure if this is supposed to be, this third one is supposed to be the same dimensions as the other 3. I'm going to assume it is. So we're going to call this storage proxy 01. And I'm going to go to edit, duplicate special options box. Now I've already been experimenting with how I want to space these. So I know I want 3 copies to be created from this original copy, and that will give me 4 pieces of storage. I have already played around with the spacing. I want each of them to be spaced in 2.25 units in translate X And so I'm going to hit apply, and that's going to do that for me. Okay. Now you can see what I mean by this layout isn't exactly straight. It's a little bit akimbo because this does not line up with the ink outlines of the layout, but they are evenly spaced out together. And then I'm going to grab these two and hit Control D because this is more storage, right? But it's just different types of storage. So we're going to make it a little bit smaller. And then this piece here, I'm going to make it like this. Okay, so now as you can see, this is like just a really fast way to start getting your proxy models laid out and seen, to see the placement of everything. You know, maybe now that we see some of this placement, we're like, you know, these tables are a little too close together, or the chairs might be a little too small, and so on and so forth. But hopefully this helps you to get started. And until next time, I'm Maya Andreasen. Bye bye.